The views and opinions expressed within the video content found on the Indie Comics Network are those of the speakers. Oh, at least now I know it works. Hold on. Where am I? Where was I? The views and opinions expressed within the video content found on the Indie Comics Network are those of the speakers and do not necessarily reflect the views or positions of the Indie Comics Network or its sponsors. You can tell I'm getting used to this, right? Let's see. I probably have more warnings on this podcast than freaking Jackass does. It's like, warning! The following live broadcast may contain loud, obnoxious, shrill, and alarming noises that might be considered disturbing, if not outright uncomfortable to listen to, especially if you are wearing headphones. I share my office space with an African gray parrot and two parakeets, and I have no control over their behavior while I am live streaming, unlike my regular videos where I have the opportunity to edit them out as best as I can. If you are sensitive to loud, surprising background noises, I recommend either not turning your volume up too loud or watching my edited, just in general, edited, pre-recorded videos instead. Oh my goodness. There's too much going on the screen right now. Hold on. Let me get my act together here. There we go. Oh! Oh, I'm learning something new about OBS every day. That clip wasn't supposed to come up, but we'll let it slide. Hold on. Yeah, so as you can see, I'm kind of playing around with my setup right now and figuring out what exactly OBS can do or not do, for that matter, compared to what we did last week. No, the week before. I didn't have a live stream last week. So, oh my goodness. Welcome, everybody. It's like we just go from I mean, just when, I think I'm getting used to this, I start something all over again. And, and it just doesn't put together, or however it was. Hello. Hey, Grant, how you doing? So hello, everybody. Welcome to another live stream from EGOWorks, the office right here. So yeah, like I said, I'm still trying to get used to my setup here. It's like the more I try to be professional, the more amateur I feel. So bear with me. So so a lot of exciting things today. Today is my first day I am streaming to Twitch. So I hope it works out. I hope I don't get kicked off for some reason or another, but we'll just kind of run with this however it goes. So yes, hello everybody, and yes, and I see you, the 4 people who are watching me from regions beyond. I see you next to that giant eyeball on the Streamyard interface over here. So yeah, like I said, give me a minute here. I'm still trying to find where everything is, and I'm the one that put it together. So yes, so for everybody seeing me for the first time, like I said, today is my first day streaming on Twitch, and obviously some people might stumble in and not know what's going on. That's okay, neither do I. So hello everybody, my name is Daphne Lage, and I'm a cartoonist, illustrator, and comic book artist from New York. I have been self-publishing comics since 1992, and I am known for the furry fantasy adventure Tall Tales, which will be returning to Kickstarter early 2023. And my medieval fantasy soap opera drama, EGORAVEN, Heir of the First Unicorn, which is currently on Kickstarter as we speak right now. All links of any campaigns that I talk about on the show will be in the show notes below. So yeah, we'll we'll discuss more of that as I kind of get settled here. Yes, where am I? Yes, and I am also co-host with Nita Lanning on the Rage Into the Vlogs show every Monday and Friday here on the Indie Comics Network. Oh yes, and this I am also doing this for the first time too. I am streaming directly from the Indie Comics Network, so I'm trying all of this new stuff out. So, like I said, yes. So yes, I'm streaming through, simulcasting through the Indie Comics Network as well. And so don't forget to like, subscribe, share, hit the notification bell so that you get notified whenever I go live on any of either my channel at Daphne Lage Art, Lage, or on the IndieComicsNetwork.com. And also in the meantime, you can read both my comics online at Tall Tales, TAILS online.com and egoworks.com, EGOWORKS. And you can check out all my videos on how I make my comics because I can't be redundant enough on YouTube. If you're watching me from Facebook, from Twitter, from Twitch, from anywhere else. Yes, you can catch all my videos on YouTube, like I said, at Daphne Lage, Lage Art. Like I said, also take a shot when I also simulcast through the Indie Comics Network. So there we have it. And yeah, so I think I might have lost a channel up there. I'm not really sure. No, I think I'm okay there. Like I said, I got a lot going on my screen right now. I have my Cintiq set up as a second monitor so I can kind of like keep track of OBS and still have, you know, like my main screen over here kind of organized as much as I can. But yeah, oh hello Jay, hello, welcome to this, you know, hot mess that I'm still trying to put together here. Hello. So yeah, so like I said, a lot was going on this week before we get started on the artwork. So a little housekeeping. I don't know, whatever we're doing today. So yeah. Yeah. So, like I said, a lot of stuff has been happening this week, especially over the weekend, and it's kind of like kept me busy for a couple of days. If you didn't catch us on the Monday show, yeah. So I had spent the weekend moving all my artwork off of websites like DeviantArt and Weasel, and I cleaned up my Fur Affinity account, and I've just been moving everything over to my website, EGOWorks.com. So yeah, so it seems that DeviantArt, if you don't know already, has decided to throw their hat into the AI ring, and shenanigans ensued, and I am no longer hosting. I am no longer using DeviantArt to host any of my artwork on the site. Right now, if you go to my gallery there, it just reroutes to my website, and I have been like slowly kind of building up my website to host my artwork. Because you know what, it's like I'm a little tired of all these platforms building their names, building their whatever it is, building their platforms, you know, on our backs as creatives, as artists and whatnot, and then pushing us under the bus the second it's time to cash out. So I want, you know, it's like I've spoken at length about my thoughts on AI. I think that until everything settles down, it is going to be devastating to the artist community. And I kind of want no part of it right now. And definitely, you know, it's like I want no part of training it, you know, or anything. And being on DeviantArt was automatically giving them permission to use my artwork to train the AI. And like I said, I want no part of that. And honestly, a lot of artists didn't. So it saves me $50 a month, $50 a year canceling my core membership. They can have it. You know, it's like that's on them. So yeah. So I've been just spending all this time still kind of transferring all of my artwork over to my website. If you follow more of my furry art, I did empty out my Weasel account. Again, it it just links to my main website. For Affinity, I'm still somewhat maintaining an account there. They're the only place where I have the uncensored House of Bob artwork. You're only going to see the censored versions on my website. So if you want to see the uncensored versions of my House of Bob work, which if you're hearing that for the first time, that is my collection of a furry erotica, to put it mildly. So you would have to have a Fur Affinity account in order to see those pieces uncensored. So that link will also be on my website, and so those two websites are the only ones that are going to feed off of each other. Hello. Oh, thank you. Hello. Yes, thank you. Thank you very much. Yes, thank you. Thank you. Yes, smash that like, smash all the buttons. Erotica? Yes, I know, Nita. I mean porn. But the thing is though, look, we have Twitch. Yes, we have Twitch stuff going on. So we don't know how far we can take we can talk about that. So yes. So yeah, speaking of housekeeping, let me see what we got here. Yes, and speaking of House of Bob, like I said, if you're not familiar, House of Bob is my adults only drawing night stream that I do with Nita Lanning, where we have conversations and draw artwork of a more adult nature, to put it mildly. And we usually hold these once a month, usually the last Saturday of every month. And this month, the last Saturday is Thanksgiving weekend. And I feel kind of ooky writing a porn stream on Thanksgiving weekend, even though people tell me it's okay. But we're going to be passing on that this month. So if you were looking forward to House of Bob, I'm sorry to disappoint you for November, but we will be back in December, which is New Year's Eve. So at least that's a little bit more, I don't know, kind of less weird to do that type of stream on New Year's Eve. Although, and for those of you, wondering, House of Bob, like I said, last Saturday of every month, except for this one, is from 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. It's a 2-hour stream. Yeah, so if you want to hang out with us on New Year's Eve, just to do something before, you go do your actual New Year's Eve party, you're more than welcome. Of course. So, yeah, so that's pretty much it for now. Like I said, so the last time I tried this, it's like, so the setup is pretty much the same as you can see here. I kind of tweaked a couple of things. I'm hoping that you were able to hear the music, the elevator music at the beginning. Because it's like, that was the sound coming through the computer was something that I was still trying to play around with and trying to figure out. So, so right now, until I can get like verification that everything works, I'm kind of running a hybrid setup between StreamYard and OBS. So, yeah, so it's a little confusing. It's probably going to take me a little bit to kind of like figure out how everything works or whatnot. But yeah, this is pretty much, I think that this is pretty much is done. Like I said, the only thing that I have to figure out is the sound and make sure that the sound is coming out correctly. And I think that's pretty much it. So like I said, EGORAVEN, Heir of the First Unicorn, issue 5. You can see the cover right here. Currently on Kickstarter. I just want to thank the 107 backers. Thank you so much for joining us on the campaign and for backing issue 5. I really can't thank you enough for that. We are very close to reaching the next stretch goal, which which is unlocking. We already unlocked the trading card for the campaign. Now we're just going to unlock the first of 3 art prints, 4x6 art prints. So the first, we're coming really close up to the first one at 4,000, where I think what, like probably like less than $400 away, because it's like I don't do math, so so we're close. We're close. Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's true. Weird would be running House of Bob on Christmas morning. That's true. That's true. I'm sure eventually that it would fall like that on the calendar. I don't know. It's like, so yes, I want to thank everybody who supported the campaign so far. We have 22 days to go, so it's not just a little over 3 weeks. So we still have time to reach my personal goals and stretch goals and all that. And yeah, so it's like I'm really glad at how the campaign is moving, and and I hope everybody is enjoying the variant cover that I dropped on Monday, Lilac Wood. If you haven't seen it, check out the website. It's a exclusive variant cover to the campaign. I'm only making as many as are pledged on. So if you're expecting to try to buy that cover later, that's not happening. I'm only making to order. So if you want to pick up that variant cover, do so while the campaign is running. You have 22 days to do it. I'm planning on releasing more variant covers as the campaign goes along. So so this is just one of the first ones. So I'm really glad that people like it. Although I saw the numbers there. You guys really like my werewolf Disaster Sun cover. Yeah, you guys really like that. Which only goes to show you, this is why you should be following me on Facebook, so you all get the joke. So yeah, so like I said, all links are in the show notes below. So so you can like go ahead and take a look at that. Oh, also Nita is putting links in the chat as well. Thank you so much, Nita. I'm sure it's making it a little easier now that I'm streaming directly from the network as opposed to my own I mean, it's like I said, I'm trying new things. They're always learning. Always be learning. Although that's not how it goes, but always be learning. And speaking of always be learning, also check out the new video that I have on the campaign as well. I did a new promo video for the campaign on Kickstarter, and I really like the way it came out. I'm very happy with it. And I look forward to making more videos like that for future campaigns. So go check that out as well. So that's kind of pretty much it in terms of, I mean, in terms of housekeeping or whatnot. Let's see. What I have on the table today is I am working on the last 4 pages to EGORAVEN issue 7. So, yes, I'm trying to stay ahead. Yes, this is the campaign for issue 5. And yes, I'm finishing up issue 7 right now so I can get the last 8 pages to the flatters. I just got the previous 8 pages from my flatter, and I have that all set up. I'm not going to start really coloring anything, i.e. color correcting anything, until I get issue 8 done, or depending on how long that process takes. Because issue 8 is technically the issue that is the first issue out of the EGORAVEN series that I'm starting from scratch. So I still, so it's like I'm still working on the layouts. I think I'm like I'm like 12 pages. I have 12 pages of layouts left for issue 8. Although I do have all the layouts that I have done already. Those are already printed out on Bristol, so that I can start penciling them soon. So yeah, so it's like yeah, I really want to keep the momentum going with trying to keep ahead of the campaigns that I'm planning on for next year. So yeah, so that's what's on the table right now. We're gonna get to that in a couple of minutes. Yeah, so I have 4 pages left. This particular issue is kind of like I've been dragging my ass on this issue for a little bit. Uh, it's just yeah, it's like I was supposed to have had this done like 2 weeks ago, but I don't know. It's like I've just been like just having a hard time really concentrating on the pages or whatnot, and I think I figured out why. This is what I this is the issue that I, not that I'd like to call it that, but that's what it is. This is the Game of Thrones issue, and I had to do something really horrible to one of my characters, and I felt really bad when I penciled it. I feel even worse when I had to ink it, and I still have to color it. So I think that the scene had such took an emotional. It drained me emotionally to ink it in, just like it did when I penciled it in. Like when I first penciled it in, I had to take a week off to finish away. I just had to stay away from the book for about a week because it's like I upset myself that much. Um, and yeah, so it's like it's the same. It was kind of the same thing. I was kind of like dreading getting to that scene to ink it, and it's like I finally inked it. I still feel horrible about it, but you know what? It's like, and if you're trying to figure out what I'm talking about, that's why you should go follow the campaign and pick up the first 5 issues and the prequel if you want the complete story. Yeah, because as we go along, the story is getting the story is getting darker. It's getting full steam ahead. We're building up to the halfway mark in a 15 issue series, and yeah, and even me saying that is kind of weird. I mean, because it's like, you know, it's just, I don't know, it's just kind of weird. I mean, it's like when with Tall Tales, my series right there, it's a 20 issue limited series. Limited series, 20 issues is not limited. It's a 20 issue series, this particular story arc, and I don't know, it just seems like one day I woke up and I had 20 issues. I don't know, it's like with EGORAVEN, I'm very conscious as to the amount of issues that I'm getting through. So yeah, so just realizing it's like, oh, if I finish issue 8, I'm pretty much at the halfway mark. Because you know, and if you're saying, but Daphne, it's like eight, you know, the halfway mark of 8 is 16, not 15, and it's like, well, yes, you are correct. Oh, thank you. But the way I've been laying out the books, I have a feeling that one of the issues for one of the later issues is going to have to be double sized, because there's certain scenes that I really want to expand on and you know, be a little bit more epic with, and keeping the story, the issue in 32 pages might not be working for, you know, might not work for me for those scenes, but I still have a bit before I get to them. So you know, that's yeah, so technically 8 is kind of sort of the halfway mark. It is going to be my halfway mark for the series. And like I said, it's like I'm just like 12 pages left of the layouts. I have, you know, I'm ready to pencil them. And yeah, and I'm just really excited to share this story with everybody. And like I said, I just want to thank the 107 people who have backed it so far, and everybody. And mind you, it's like this is a very interesting campaign. It seems that most of the people are returning are returning fans, and I just want to I want to thank everybody for that. It's like, it's like, I understand that the trade paperback is a different animal. It's a different thing. It's like, there's a lot of people who prefer individual issues on top of, as opposed to getting a trade paperback. And there are people who just like the trade paperback. So the volume 1 campaign was interesting in and of itself, but I'm really happy to see so many of you coming back for issue 5. And I am looking, and I'm really, really looking to get everybody back and then some. We're close. The issue 4, I think, had 173 backers. So of course, my goal on issue 5 is to hit 175 backers, which would break that previous record. So I'm really hoping that you can all join me and my unicorn princess. So So yeah, so there you go. Oh, Joe, hello, Joe, hello, and hello, Jake. Yeah, well, I don't know if it'll be leather bound. I'm still, it's like, but definitely there will be a deluxe edition. We've spoken a bit about that before, where I would like to collect the entire EGORAVEN series into one hardcover. And speaking of the granddaddy of hardcovers, I've read volume 1. I've only been able to, it's like, and what's funny is that one of our local comic book shops just closed, and they had like a blowout sale, and we were able to get Berserk volume 8 for like $10. So usually I don't like buying books out of order, but we were definitely going to make an exception for this one. So yeah, so I've been flipping through Berserk volume 8, and I'm kind of familiar superficially with the story. I mean, I keep wanting to say the Golden Path, but that's Dune. But you know which story I'm talking about. You know which story arc that I'm talking about. It's like, it's the Golden something. Yeah, no, exactly. Yeah. So I'm already familiar with that storyline. Through the yes, it's the Golden Age. Yes, the Golden Path is Dune, like I said. Oh, yes, exactly. At $10? No, absolutely. Absolutely. And yeah, so I kind of have a feeling I understand what's going on in volume 8. But there's a whole bunch of new characters that I'm not familiar with. Like, I kind of know the story with what's going on with Casca and all that. So it's like, yeah. So, but it's okay though. It's okay. The artwork is brilliant. I love looking at it. It's good to flip through. I mean, and even just reading it, out of context, it's like, well, I understand enough. But yes, you know what, but the idea is to get a hardcover EGORAVEN omnibus to go along with the Tall Tales omnibus, to bring back the hardcover. Oh, and before I forget, because we have Joe D in the house and we have Jake in the house, so you know what that means.
I don't know who it is, but it probably is for Hogwarts guys. I asked my friend Joe, I asked my friend Jake. They said it was for Hogwarts guys.
Like I said, I'm going to haunt you two for the rest of your lives with this. So, and we were able to pick up too from that blowout sale. We were able to pick up another Junji Ito book. Again, it's like for like, I think that one was like $5 or something, either 5 or 10. Nothing was more than 10. But I mean, yeah, it was a good haul. It was yeah. I know, right? That's exactly. If I knew how to edit like that, I would. Your little skull popping up, right? Amazonia popping up. So So yeah, so it was a good haul, just for the Berserk volume and the Junji Ito volume. So here we are at the half. Well, we're just hitting. Well, we're just a little past the half-hour mark, and I know everybody's here to watch me ink. So yeah, so like I said, that's pretty much everything that I have right now. Yeah, I don't think I'm missing anything. If not, I'll probably just blab it later. um so yeah, so what I'm going to do is, because I'm still trying to tweak this. So there was something that, oh my god, these friggin' flies. What happened is that we're having a bit of a, like I said, it's like, well, the rats have kind of like really have calmed down a bit, because it's like I've been after them. But of course, whatever ends up in the walls, I can't help that. So if you see a fly passing by in front of the camera, it's one of those. Look, it's not exactly Amityville in the house, but it's still annoying. All you need is just one. All you need is just one fly to be obnoxious. Okay, so let me just switch over here. So I'm going to do my little lovely transition. Ooh, very nice. Very nice. So here we have the page that I'm currently working on. This is, like I said, it's EGORAVEN issue 7. This is page 29 out of 32. So yeah, I just have to finish that up. And yeah, so what I am going to do is, hold on. There was something that I wanted to, let's see. What do I have here? Let me see if this works. Does this work? Is this going to work? There we go. There we go. Okay, so we have the chat up. Okay, so the chat works. Okay, the only catch is that if I do anything else in StreamYard, it's going to show on the StreamYard. So, okay, as long as that works, so I'm going to save that. Okay, so because again, I'm just still trying to figure out, show my setup. No, it is definitely not the last house on the left. It's definitely not. There was funny that you mentioned that. There was I don't remember. No, that Halloween we were watching all the Omen movies, and yeah, it's like we watched one Halloween we were watching Rosemary's Baby, and then spent the rest of the night watching all of the Omen movies. But there was one weekend where I watched the John Carpenter, I think it's John Carpenter's Last House on the Left. And then I watched the Swedish movie that it was based on, that he based the story on. Was it John Carpenter did Last House on the Left, or am I confused? No, that was, I was going to say Wes Anderson. No, it's not Wes Anderson. It was the guy who did Amityville Horror. No, not Amityville Horror. A Nightmare on Elm Street. I forgot. You know what? You guys know who I'm talking about. Yeah, so it's like I was watching Last House on the Left, and then I watched the Swedish movie that it was based on. It was pretty interesting to see, just to kind of like, see where one influenced the other. But yeah, yes, right. Wes Craven. There we go. Yes, no, no, it was not Last House to the Left by Wes Anderson. No, it was not. Yes, Wes Craven. Yes, thank you. You see, I can always count on you guys in the chat to put me on the right path. So, okay, now that I have the transition set up, I'm going to run a bump. I'm going to fix my camera a bit, and then we'll get to working, right? So let's do that then. So I'll be right back. Did you like that? Did you like that? I'm very proud of it. I'm very proud of it. I was tired of everybody getting cinematic, all these cinematic videos for their campaigns, and I was like still doing like lame ass voiceovers and whatnot. And it's like, you know what? No, I want something, punchy, and it's like just something, upbeat and whatnot. So I redid my video, and I'm very happy with it. I like it a lot better than the one that I had before. The other one was like a little too utilitarian for me. So, oh yes, and an exciting purchase that I just want to show off. I bought a trackball. Very exciting. Yeah, it's like after the weekend that I was like spending time transferring my artwork over to my website. It's like my wrist was hurting, and it's like, and it was like, so it's like, why is my wrist? I was like, oh, my wrist is hurting, blah blah. And then I'm like going, wait a minute, I used to use a trackball. Why do I have a regular mouse? Why am I using that? And so I finally bought the trackball. And yeah, it's much better. It's like, I don't know why I forgot that I used to use this. Okay, so let me put the chat. Oh, you see how it shows. You see if now you're seeing all the clips, right? So let me switch that over, right? Switch it over to the chat, right? And now I can put that up again. So you see now it's showing the chat. You see, because, yeah, so anything that, if I switch over, I mean, it's like, it's like just to show you guys, So, like, if I switch over to, like, wanting to play a video, it'll show there. But that I want it to be, in the comments. Yeah, it's like the original was an Ingmar Bergman. Yeah, it's like, yeah, the original, yeah. Yeah, that was the one that I watched. It was pretty it was pretty interesting. Let's see. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. It's the best it's the best thing to yeah, to play Centipede on. So yeah. So actually, let me, oh, no, if I move I think if I move. Oh, okay. No. Okay. So let me do this. Cause, okay, is it gonna stay put? Is it gonna stay put? Yeah, because even with, okay, good. All right. So even with my glasses, I can't really see the screen very well on my Cintiq. Hold on. Let me see if I can fix this. Okay, I can. No, I think that's about. Okay, that's as large as it's gonna get. Which, like, even with my glasses that are specifically for computer screens, I can't really read the chat. But if you're watching this on a TV, you'll be able to read it just fine. But so I have to turn my head a bit to be able to read the chat. Luckily, I could also turn my screen as well, which, of course, look at my mess right here. Look at my mess right here. So if I turn the screen, it affects my camera. So it's a whole thing. So I just switched it over. So yeah, okay, all right. So you know what? I think this is as good as my setup is gonna get. It's like, it's really amazing the difference moving a couple of inches makes. It's like, oh, now the camera, I gotta fix the camera, I gotta do this, I gotta do that, and it's like look, we'll just deal with it. Okay, all right. So like I said, here I am on issue 7. This is page 29, and yeah. So before I forget, so. Because, let's see, so let's get our music going. Oh, ooh. So we have the flamenco, what is it? Oh, look at that. Yeah, so this is, yeah, there we go. Okay, so I guess if anything covers up where the chat is, it shows up on the screen. So okay, so this is the flamenco playlist of Epidemic Sound. So I know that on Twitch, I've seen people like play copyrighted music. But because I'm still streaming this to YouTube, we can't do that. So it's going to be just, it's going to be just, a copyright, the licensed music as much as we can. So how's the volume for you guys? Is it do I sound like I'm yelling over the music, or should I put it down a bit? Because again, I can adjust it in my headphones, so I'm not hearing the music. But the idea is so that it's like yes, Jake is clapping along. Yes, to the rhythm there. It's fine. Okay, good. Okay. So let me start. Let me get this inking started here, so that I can at least have another page done for today. I really want to finish. I want to get this issue just finally done. Like I said, it's been taking me a little too long, longer than I wanted, and I still have to finish coloring the cover to the Peacekeepers. That I started. I think that was what I was working on 2 weeks ago on the last stream, because that campaign is for is for early. That's the next campaign after this, to tell you the truth. After issue 5, then the Collected Peacekeepers comes out. So I just haven't decided how early in the year I'm going to, I'm going to release it. But I had to do horrible things. So it's but that's how a story goes. That's how a story goes. Oh, again, if for those of you who are joining me for the first time and you're not familiar with the way I ink, I like using... Oh no, did I freeze? Okay, I think I froze a little bit. I'm not sure if that's OBS or not, or whether it's Streamyard or my my connection. So let's hope it's not let's hope it doesn't make it a habit. So like I said, for those of you joining me for the first time and you're curious as to the tools that I use, when I'm inking, I mostly use a Rapidograph. These are technically architecture pens. They're technical pens. They're not really made for this, but this is what I trained myself on anyway. So that's just how it is. Do I recommend them? Absolutely not. But that's just... It's just what I use. It's just what I'm used to working with. Yeah. So I was I caught a video. Yeah. Oh, throttle trolling. Yeah, it's like, well, we're using, what are we using? We're using Spectrum, which used to be known as Comcast. No, not Comcast, Cablevision, which God knows. It's like, you know what? It's like, it's whatever the monopoly is here, So, I haven't had a problem with it in a while, so it's always a little surprising when something does happen. But okay, so where was I? Yes. So I was so I caught in kind of like a vlog video today, where this woman, she started her, I guess she started like her YouTubing about 3 years ago, and I guess it's like now her whole thing is educating people on like building. She does fine art. but like building an art career on YouTube. And she had a previous video that I found interesting about how YouTube, especially in the age of AI, how YouTube is going to be more important for artists to use, you know, to kind of like humanize our artwork, to actually associate humans with artwork. Funny enough. I think so. Yeah, I think it's Kelly Rodriguez. I think so. The name's familiar. It's like I just started watching her, so I'm not used to her yet. I think you might be correct. But the thing is, though, that wasn't the video. Like, that was the first video that I saw of her, and then I caught another one of her videos today, and then I finally subscribed to her channel because it's like, okay, you know what? It's like I really want to see what I guess she has to offer. You know, yeah, she does a lot of landscape work. You know, and so today I saw a video of hers where she was talking about how originality is overrated, and you know, and it's like. And it's just really funny how, you know, what I liked about the video was that, you know, aside from the fact that it's like, yeah, I do agree. I think like not only is originality overrated, but I think that originality is worshipped a little too hard than what it deserves. And what happens is that it affects, I think that it really affects, it affects people's creativity because of that, you know. And, you know, because the thing that she was talking about was that it's like, look, you know, it's like we can't help but be influenced by everything around us. You know, it's like, I mean, not to get all the cliche of, you know, it's like, oh, there's nothing original in the world. You know, it's like there's nothing original, so don't worry about originality. You know, I think like another thing that keeps bandied about is that there's only like 30 different types of stories, and then that all we're doing is like rehashing like different variations and iterations of those 30 stories. And you know, and the thing is that I think there's a lot of misunderstanding as to what being original means, and what happens is that I think that especially lately, it's like it's kind of like we're living in an environment of pure literalism, and I think it creates this kind of like all or nothing attitude that's incredibly stifling. You know, to kind of like, you know, I guess kind of use myself as an example, because it's like this is something that still kind of stuck in my craw a bit. So I was paying for, on my last campaign, I was paying for Facebook ads, and I was doing a little above and beyond than what I usually do. Oh, hi Nicholas. I was doing a little above and beyond what I usually do on Facebook. You know, I was spending a little bit more money because I was told that it's like, oh, you'll get better results that way, and blah blah blah. And Facebook will push you, you know, more if you spend more money. So, you know, it's like, look, you got to try it at least once, right? So that's what I did, and what I learned is that when you spend more money on Facebook ads, you're actually paying for trolls. Or at least that's what I ended up paying for, pretty much. I had to stop the Facebook campaign early because, you know, you know, it was just like I didn't want to spend any more money to get kind of like the shit results that I was getting. And it's like, well, I mean, it's like, like, look, as long as they're watching me, I'm okay with that. I mean, that's the whole point, to kind of like spread the love a bit, So I know that I usually like my channel is usually kind of like my base of operations, and like I said, today I'm doing a lot of experimenting, and oh yeah, no, this playlist is really good. Yeah, no, I'm very it's like I said, it's the flamenco playlist on Epidemic Sound. If you have, and it's like, so far this has been kind of like the more successful searches that I've done on Epidemic Sound. Oh, so I stopped paying for Facebook ads, but even when you stop paying for them, until your ads cycle out, people are still able to comment on them. They still see them and comment on them. And I had to get one last troll in. It's like I had to get one last troll on my ads before they cycled out because I stopped paying. And this guy thought that he was being all to her by saying, it's like, oh, EGORAVEN just looks like, it was an ad for EGORAVEN, Volume 1. It says, oh, this just looks like a ripoff of Acorna anyway. And the thing, okay, so for those of you who don't know, Acorna is a science fiction book written by Anne McCaffrey back in the 90s. Yeah, it's like, because that's when I saw it, when it first came out. I saw it when it first came out. And that was ironic, is that with this person mentioning it, is that was the book that really forced me to get my shit together when it came to EGORAVEN the character and start building it up to the point where it's like, okay, I have to do something with this character. This can't be an idea just rattling in my head. I have to do something with it. And then probably like around like 2000 was when I started putting up the first pages on my website for it. So, but the thing is though, is that so here's the thing, going back to originality being overrated. And you see, the thing is though, is that so this guy decided to dismiss my work all because it superficially looked like something that Anne McCaffrey did. Like, would he have, it's like, I'm sure he would have said the same thing if I had done something with Dragon Riders, It's like, I'm pretty sure J.R.R. Martin had, his comparisons to Pern. Oh, they're riding dragons, you're ripping off Pern. It's like, look, it's I kind of, look, if you really want to talk, everything is a rip-off of Lord of the Rings. If you want, if you really want to go there, it's like, yeah, everything is a rip-off of Lord of the Rings. Anne McCaffrey ripped off Lord of the Rings, and it's like, what, it's, and, and the thing is, though, it's like, the comparison irks me, the comparison did irk me, because it's like, last I checked, Anne McCaffrey did not have a fucking trademark on Unicorn Girls, you go to DeviantArt, or at least what's left of it, and there you look up, you type in Unicorn Girl in the search, and you get thousands of entries. So it's like, it's not an original concept by any means of the imagination. Right, yeah, but you see, but this is the thing though, it's like, like how much is something inspired by or a straight ripoff? That's the thing. I'm not familiar with Elric, so I wouldn't have that comparison. So as much as I love The Witcher, it's a shame that it's only 4 seasons now, so that's how it goes, right? So yeah, but that's, yeah, so that's a kind of like well, it's kind of like a related conversation, I guess, but that's the thing though, how people think that if something reminds them of something else, that means that it's a ripoff, and that's not necessarily the case. You know, which is ironic because the whole, like, especially lately, the whole basis of marketing is that you kind of have to remind consumers of something that came before so that they have kind of like an automatic nostalgia for it. You know, so it's like, oh, well, it's like, you know, so, you know, what's EGORAVEN? You know, it's like, oh, so, you know, like, what, you know, what's EGORAVEN? It's like, well, it's kind of like the Chronicles of Narnia meets The Witcher, which is, a, you know, according, you know, it's like, which may be a ripoff of Elric, but I don't know that. So, you know, but by using those things, you know, kind of like, you know, when I'm describing Tall Tales, it's like Lord of the Rings with furries. You know, so it's like, it gives people that immediate connection to understand something that they've never seen before through the lens of familiarity. And, you know, and that in and of itself, I mean, I know a lot of people get annoyed by that. It's like, oh, you know, I've seen a lot of artists like, oh, I hate it when you say your art looks like so-and-so. You know, it's like, or your art reminds me of. And, you know, and the thing is like, depending on the comparison, I don't understand why some artists have, well, actually, I do know. It's because it's the whole thing about originality. It's like everybody wants to believe, I guess everybody wants to believe that they're coming up with something original. And by someone saying it reminds me of, they're kind of like pointing out that you failed. But the thing is, though, you didn't. You know, because it's like Tall Tales, I can compare Tall Tales all day to Lord of the Rings, but it's not the Lord of the Rings. It's just something that, you know, that it's like, okay, if you want, it's just something to give it context in terms of what the overall tone is. You know, like if you know, like if I had said, because saying something is comparable, like, oh, this is like Lord of the Rings, but if I said, well, this is like Game of Thrones, you already automatically know what I'm talking about without me having to go into detail. You know, so that's a shortcut. So for me, yeah, I consider that a shortcut to kind of like marketing my work. You know, because it's like, okay, alright, so by saying Lord of the Rings, you already, like, you kind of have a predetermined expectation for the work that the story that I'm hoping when you actually read the story builds up on. You know, it doesn't mean that Tall Tales is a copy. You know, I mean, it's inspired by, definitely. You know, but, you know, the fact that you can easily say, well, that's not original, it's like, okay, fine. It's like, you know, so what? You know, I mean, in the end, it's like, this guy who was bitching about EGORAVEN, I was like, oh, it looks like an Acorna ripoff. Well, it's like, on the most superficial, if you're talking about a unicorn girl, really? That's it? That's all it takes? Then it's like, well, that's a you problem. You know, it's like, because I can tell you, even without having read Acorna, that me and Anne McCaffrey wrote two very distinct stories that have nothing to do with each other, except for the fact that they both have a unicorn girl in it. You know, but it's like, for this guy, it's like, oh, well, because he saw the idea before, then it's like, oh, then I can dismiss this idea, which is absolutely ridiculous. You know, and like I said, it's like, I think that a lot of creators kind of get that stuck in their head, and it affects what they do, because you know, because like they're so concerned about, oh, well, it's not original. It's like, do you think, here's the funny thing though, do you think that everybody doing zombies cares that George Romero put them on the map, put zombies on the map? Do you think that they care that it's like, I can go up to the guy from The Walking Dead and say, oh, you ripped that off of George Romero. And he'd probably be like, yeah, I did. That's where the idea comes from. You know, it's like, you know, it's like, do you think that, you know, the thing is, though, it's like, I mean, do you think everybody doing a zombie book, as boring as that is, but that's a different conversation, you know, do you think they care that it's like, oh, it's like Walking Dead? It's like, in fact, they welcome that. They welcome that comparison. Because most of the people that I see doing those types of stories, they want to be compared to Walking Dead in the hopes that a studio goes, oh, snap, we can use another Walking Dead. You know, let's buy this, let's buy the rights to this book. You know? You know, so it's, you know, so that's, you know, so it's like, so her whole thing was talking about, you know, like how the fact that how worrying about originality is very stifling. Ironically, it's stifling. And that we can't help but be inspired by everything. And here's the thing. I've had people look through Tall Tales and say, oh, it looks like ElfQuest. And, you know, it's like I could see the ElfQuest influence in it. And they would say it almost expecting me. They were troublemakers. They were saying that, expecting me to get mad at them. And instead, I would get all excited. You know, because it's like, oh, that's exactly how it's supposed to look. It's my main influence. You know, it's like, thank you. You know, thank you for seeing it, you know? And they get all surprised because I guess what it is that they're so used to artists getting all defensive. You know, and, you know, it's like, and here's the thing too, and it's like, you know, and I think that also it's like, this is where you also get the whole thing about, oh, if you use reference, you're a hack. You know, if you're, you know, and it's like, if you're not drawing everything from your head, you're a hack. Because it's like, if you're a true artist, you should be able, you don't need reference, you don't need anything, you don't need influences or anything. And, look, honestly, the only person that I know of who could do everything from memory was Frank Frazetta, and he still used reference. He talked about at length about how most of his models that he used were his sisters. So it's like, you know, either he's a genius or he's a hack, according to that conversation. You know? I think we all know where Frank Frazetta stands on this, you know? And honestly, I would rather do everything the way Frank did it than some 16-year-old rando with a complex on, because they're too much online. They're severely online, you know? They're terminally online, you know? So, you know, and here's the thing too. Well, right, yeah, or it's like if you see, but that's the irony of it. So it's like, oh, you're a hack if you're not copying something. It's like, it's just crazy. It's like nobody knows. It's like those are the people who want their comfort so much that if you don't cater to that, then it's like, oh, it's like you're a hack or you're a bad person because your artwork doesn't remind me of Jim Lee. And it's like, yeah, I've seen people like that too. Well, it's like, if yours doesn't look like something that Image would have done, I don't want it. And it's like, look, it's like, that's a preference, you know, which is again another thing that people confuse, where it's like, it's like, look, it's okay to have preferences. It's like, that's normal. Everybody has preferences, you know? You know, but the thing is, though, an artist not falling within your preference doesn't mean that it isn't some kind of moral attribute. You know, that's the thing. It's just that they're drawing in a way that you don't prefer. You know, it's like, look, I hate J. Scott Campbell. You know, it's like, I don't know him as a person, but I really abhor his artwork. And I hate, like, Michael Turner's artwork, you know, that whole thing. Like, I really, really abhor that style. You know, does it take away from the person drawing it? It's like, look, they could give a shit if I like it or don't like it. You know, J. Scott is getting paid $20,000 for the most phoned-in cover at Marvel. Who's laughing? It's like, really, this guy is going to give a shit that I don't like his artwork? You know, I mean, you know, it's ridiculous. You know? So it's not a moral failing if someone doesn't like your artwork on either side. You know, that it's like, if someone isn't drawing to your specifications, it's not a moral failing on the artist's part. That's like I said, that's a you problem. If you don't like the artwork, that's on you. You know, it's like, if you're reading a book and you don't understand what the author is doing, it's not a failing on the author, it's a failing on you. You know, unless the author is really, really shitty. Like, oh my god, it's like someone had posted up some Chuck Dixon excerpts, and I'm like going, holy shit. It's like, if this is what counts as professional grade prose, it's like, imposter syndrome is, you know, that's fake news. It's like, you know what, nobody should be having imposter syndrome if that writing, if that prose that I read from Chuck Dixon is what's considered professional grade. I mean, it was the stupidest shit. It's like, there was like no nuance in the writing. It's like, you would think that it was a paragraph where he was describing another man, a character, a male character, and you would think that if he took a little, like that if he wrote a little bit more care into it, that it would make him gay. I swear to God, that's how it read. You know, like, you know. It's like, look, Nick, you know, it's like, look, whoever you love is who you love. You know, it's like, they are definitely not my preference, that's for sure. You know, and like I said, and it's like, look, if their feelings are not hurt by me saying that, neither should yours. You know, I am sure I am a fan of artists where people would be like, really? You know, I mean, it's like, look, it's like, you know what? It's like, look, and the thing is that it's very easy to be a target of that too. I'm sure that there are people looking at this artwork and going like, who the fuck does she think she is talking like that? You know, and I go, well, I'm just me talking like this, my opinion on my own stream, so that's who I am. And I'm drawing my own comics, so buy it or don't buy it, you know? So that's who I am. That's who I am. You know, so yeah, so she was talking about originality and how actually what she does is that instead of like trying to live like a hermit and not be influenced by anything, her whole view is to lean into it completely and be completely influenced by everything around her. And that's kind of like how I feel too. I feel like my artwork celebrates everything that I love, you know, and it's like, and like everything is an Easter egg as far as I'm concerned when it comes to my artwork. Everything's an Easter egg. So it's like, if you can, like if you recognize something in my artwork, it's most likely deliberate. You know, it's like I was showing off the cover to issue 5. Yeah, it's like, you know, it's like you guys have seen it. And it's someone has said like, oh, it looks like Beauty and the Beast. And I go, it absolutely is Beauty and the Beast. I specifically designed this cover after Beauty and the Beast. You know, it's like, and I meant it to be obvious. You know? So, so it's like, so pointing that out, you're not insulting me by pointing that out any more than people weren't insulting me by saying that, oh, Tall Tales, it has a lot of ElfQuest influences for a furry book. And it's like, yeah, you better believe it does, you know? So my whole thing is like, I'm not concerned about being original. It's like, it's like, you all know about my whole Loki thing, right? The shit's practically a fetish. So it's like, about a year ago, I made a joke after Disney tried to trademark Loki and Norse mythology that we should all create our own Lokis and fight Disney Spartacus style. And I ended up making up my own Loki, who ended up such an integral part of the EGORAVEN mythos. I literally can't imagine the story without him. And he only existed about a year and a half ago. I had this story, I had EGORAVEN since 2000, since earlier then. But the story only came together because Disney did something stupid, and I was influenced by that. I had to copy Disney. I needed my own Loki. And the thing is, it's like, well, technically, but Disney was copying Norse. Yeah, but you see, I had to get to Norse mythology through Disney for that to work, for that to have happened. So that's the thing. So it's like I ended up with a major. So because of that, I ended up with a major character that, like I said, I cannot imagine EGORAVEN without. I mean, that's how major this character is. Like, he literally, like, my Loki literally brought the story together. So in the end, am I concerned about the fact that, oh, Disney has a Loki too, you stole it from, it's like, no, it's like Disney stole it from Norse mythology. Marvel stole it from Norse mythology. It's like they weren't concerned about being original by doing that, okay? So I'm not going to be concerned about being original either. So everybody gets a Loki. You get a Loki. You get a Thor. You can get a Thor. It's like, it's like, yes, he was. I was being mad bitchy, and I came up with my own Loki, and that's literally how it started. It was because of Disney that I did that. But the thing is, though, like I said, it made me look. You see, this is where the originality comes in. It's like, okay, so we take something from mythology that everybody has access to, that everybody can use Thor and Loki and whatever. Everybody can essentially do this, right? But the thing is, though, the originality comes in how you do it. How do you tell the story? It's like, I've mentioned this before. Joseph Campbell and Carl Jung, they talk about the collective consciousness, how it's like that there is a creative consciousness, where it's like that every culture on this planet, every culture, every time period, has almost identical stories, like the baseline, and then their culture influences how that story gets told. And and the thing is that it's the same thing with us. It's like, is a unicorn girl original? Is another furry fox guy original? It's like, is a mouse with a bow tie original? It's like, no, in and of itself it is not. But it's how we tell the stories is what makes them original. That's where the differences is. That's why we remember George Romero zombies. That's why we remember The Walking Dead. Although ironically, I don't remember the name of the guy who did it. It's like we remember The Walking Dead. It's like out of the hundreds, if not thousands, of zombie movies that exists. Well, it could be thousands. I mean, it's like if you count, you know, it's like student films and shit. But it's like, yeah, I'm pretty sure it's a lot. You know, I know that there's like so many, like everybody, like zombies seems to be the go-to, right? But we remember particular ones for a reason. You know, 28 Days Later, like those, like that kind of changed zombie lore for a bit. You know, for actually, I think it did really change zombie lore. You know, 28 Days Later, 30 Days of Night. You know, although I think 30 Days of Night was more vampires than zombies, was it? I think that was more vampires. Yeah, I think 30 Days of Night was more vampires, but it still stands. The idea still stands. You think vampires are original? You know, but we remember Anne Rice, right? We certainly remember Stephanie Meyer. You know, but again, it's like all these iterations of Dracula, all these iterations of vampires. You know, every culture has a version. But there are particular ones that we remember for a reason. You know, it's like, you know, and look, you know, it's like, and even then you can get even more niche and say, it's like, look, Francis Ford Coppola, Dracula, genius shit, genius. You know, I will fight everybody for that movie. You know, I mean, it's like that he really took that vampire mythos and turned it into his own. You know, so I would like to think that with, a unicorn girl, you know, that I'm doing the same thing. You know, Anne McCaffrey did something else. You know, it's like, so you technically can't compare the two. You can't compare me to Anne McCaffrey. You know, any more than you can compare me to Wendy Pini. That you can't. You know? You know, so the thing is that, you know, so I agree with the video that it's like, yes, originality is overrated and we shouldn't be using originality as a benchmark. Just by you doing something, by you interpreting something, makes it original. Like going back to Loki, you know, so it's like, so my design of Loki is never going to be confused with Tom Hiddleston. Is it Tom Hiddleston? No, that's Spider-Man. No, Tom Hiddleston, yeah. Tom Hiddleston, yeah. I'm saying his name like I shouldn't be saying it. You know, it's like Marvel Loki. Let's just put it there. I'm pretty sure it's Tom Hiddleston. You know, yeah, Tom Hiddleston. God, he's hot. But that's besides the point. So, you know, it's like you're not going to confuse my Loki with his. You know? So, it's like, so already, you know, I have that going. You know? And then it's like, in order to do his backstory, I didn't want to do a literal iteration of Norse mythology, of the Loki mythology. You know, I'm not a mythology scholar, so that wasn't my intention. So, but the thing is, though, it's like I wanted something based on the actual mythology without being the actual mythology. Like, it's very superficial, you know? So, Holland. Right, yeah, I was confusing him with Holland. Thank you. Yes, you saw that, right? You caught that. Right? Yeah. You know, hey, look, we're lucky at least their first names aren't Chris, okay? There's too many Chris's in the Marvel universe. There's too many. So I had wanted to use the mythology as a base, but I didn't want to be literal with it. So, because in the end, I wanted to do something that was my own and that I could manipulate for my own needs. You know, but it's like, you know, it's not supposed to be accurate to the mythology. like I said, I'm not doing a dissertation here. You know, I'm not getting a master's degree on Norse mythology. I'm fucking around with a character for a story about a unicorn girl. You know, it's like, you know, that's what it boils down to. So yeah, so my Loki's origin is different than what you find in actual Norse mythology. You know, and it's like, what's funny is like that came up, we did an interview with Michael Odin, and you know, he's all, you know, and you know, and it's, you know, and he's I guess like going to school to, I guess, get a master's in Roman civilization, I guess. I don't know the exact details of it, but it's like he's going to school for this, and he really is writing dissertations and published journals and all that stuff, you know, about the Roman Empire and individual and the, I guess, like, I don't know if he has a specialty in the Roman Empire, in his Roman Empire studies, but the thing is, though, he's a stickler for mythology. And he was kind of, and we kind of got into it over the movie Immortals. Tarzim, ironically, you know, not even ironically, but coincidentally, with Henry Cavill playing, I forgot the name of the character, but he's in it, you know, and I adore this movie. Absolutely. Look, it has Mickey Rourke in it, okay? It's like, that's all you need to know. It has Mickey Rourke in it. I adore this movie. And, you know, and Michael Odin was kind of like, kind of poo-pooing it because, I mean, you do not watch this movie if you're looking for anything accurate about Greek mythology. Absolutely not. There is absolutely, it's superficial. It's completely superficial in how it portrays Greek mythology. But doesn't matter. It's just a story. It's not, again, it's not a PhD dissertation. It's not a documentary. You know? And hold on. So what are you doing there, Jake? If I don't see that thesis of the, I'm gonna butcher that word, the Voluspa and the Edda poems by the end of December, I'll see to the ban list myself for any flights to Scandinavia. Ooh, very nice. Yeah, well, the closest, yeah, because like, look, I got that interested in it that I even bought this book. I think this is from like the British Museum. I think where's this? Look, from the Poetic Edda. you know. So yeah. So it's just like all the, you know. So I haven't really sat down and read it, but it's like, yeah, it's what I, you know, because what I like is that it it kind of like translates certain words and whatnot, so that you kind of know. Let's see. Harald remembers his mother's advice. Faithful falcon field goddess, command this of me, not to creep behind the shield in the noise of weapons. The necklace support told me to hold my helmet base high, where Valkyrie ice and skulls meet in the clash of metal. And that's why I had to buy it. You know? And then it explains what the words mean. Like, falcon field means arm, goddess means woman, noise of weapons is just battle, necklace support also means woman, helmet base is the head, Valkyrie ice, ooh, it's sword. That's their word for sword. Clash of metal is also battle, right? You know, so yeah, so that's, you know, but again, it's like I'm being very superficial, you know, with it to my own means. Yeah, Michael will have a hard time playing through God of War Ragnarok, that's for sure. Oh yeah, and that's the thing too, because a thing that I was playing that I'm playing around with for my Loki is I kind of imagine him like especially when I do the Modern Immortals storyline, where someone asks, I guess like kind of susses out what Loki is, or they try to kind of like talk about Ragnarok, and my Loki goes, that's a theory. That's more of a, it's more of an idea rather than a literal thing. So in my version of Norse mythology, in context to my Loki, Ragnarok is kind of like just an idea. It's like rather than an actual thing that happens. It's kind of like that. The destruction of the gods was really about people forgetting, not really about a literal war between the gods. So technically in my version there is technically no Ragnarok. Not in the sense that the actual Norse mythology is. And it's like, and I know that in the game God of War, they play fast and loose with that too. And the thing is, though, is that like I kind of remember telling him that it's like, look, I mean, it's like I said, I'll fight tooth and nail for that Immortals movie. Just like I'll fight tooth and nail for the Francis Ford Coppola Dracula. And it's like, and I go, look, as somebody who's playing fast and loose with Norse mythology, I don't understand what the big deal is. It's like mythology. I mean, it's like, this is how we kind of make it our own. I mean, it's like, honestly, I have a bigger problem with Disney trying to trademark these things and literally make themselves arbiters of this, rather than whether some video game developers, made Thor look not like we think Thor is supposed to look like. I kind of remember everyone kept talking about Fat Thor, but like in the game, and it's like, look, he has a power lifter's body. I mean, people were literally having to explain this. He has a power lifter's body. It's like, he's, it's a completely different physique, but that's another conversation, about, people having, thinking something is wrong if it doesn't meet, their criteria for something. It's like, no, it's not wrong. It just doesn't meet your criteria. If you were expecting, freaking Chris Hemsworth Thor, you're not going to get that in the video game. Of course they can't use that version. Oh yeah, yes, exactly. Actually, yeah, you see that, and that's a thing too. It's like, that's another show that I'm really upset about, that they kind of like, Neil Gaiman's American Gods. It's like the first season was like, that had me riveted, right? And then they had to fire everybody that made it good. Look, it's like when they said that Gillian Anderson was not coming back to play Media, I was like, okay, I'm done. I'm not. And then it's like, and then it's like they fired Orlando Jones, supposedly for being too black on it. And it's like, oh, forget it. I'm done with that show. I'm done. I'm not watching it. So no, American Gods. Yeah, you see, it's like, that's the thing. Is anybody calling out Neil Gaiman for being a copycat, for being unoriginal, because he's copying from mythology? I mean, it's like, and that's the thing too, right? It's like, and then it's like, that's not even talking about the friggin' double, triple, quadruple standards that some fans have, that insufferable people have. I wouldn't even call them fans, to tell you the truth. it's, you know, so it's like, but you know what, but that's also the elephant in the room that I keep talking about too, that it's like, if people like you, you can get away with almost anything. If people don't like you, it's like you could pet a puppy, you could post a picture of a puppy and people would be calling you sus, you know. So that's, you know, and it's like, look, that's true in marketing, that's true in everything, you know, that it's like, separate conversation, let's put a pin in that. But that's why I don't understand why people come, like, they come into, like, fan spaces with the intention of being assholes, thinking that that's the best way to build an audience, you know, where it's like, I mean, granted, there are people who've been able to do that, but you see, but the problem is that once you establish yourself as that, you can never leave that box. Once you have established yourself as, oh, you're the guys from that channel that never likes anything, you can never leave that. And then what happens is that changes the way you think about everything, because everything you do is catered to the clout that you get for a channel that you've created this asshole persona on. You know? You know, and but like I said, that's a different conversation. But the thing is, though, is that you're always going to be known as that, so why would you want to be like that? It's you know, kind of like the novelty t-shirt. My mom said I could be anything I wanted when I grew up, so I decided to be an asshole. I mean, that it's kind of like that, you know, and we see that, you know, we see that a lot when we're doing marketing for other people and whatnot. You know, doing my own marketing, you know, or seeing how other people do marketing, where it's like, there really is a fine line between promoting yourself and being a spammer. And honestly, a big chunk of that is whether people really like you or not. You know, and it seems to be like, a thing that we keep seeing, that behavior that we wouldn't tolerate from one person, we completely applaud in another. It's very strange, and it's a fine line. I forgot my point that I was yeah, oh, that's still one of my highest videos. Like I said, I only keep it up there for the engagement. You know, because if you look in the it's like it's like stop drawing anime crap. It's like it's a clickbait title, okay? Because if people actually watch the video, that's not what I'm saying. That is absolutely not what I'm saying. Although if I were to redo that video, I would absolutely just say, yes, your teachers are racist. And showing anti-Japanese sentiment when they say that. If I were to do that again, I would, because honestly, that's exactly what I believe. But in and of itself, though, and yeah, and if you look, the last time, I don't even look at the comments anymore, because last I checked it, it's just a whole bunch of people, a whole bunch of weeaboos calling me an asshole, and it's like, okay, I can tell all of you did not watch the video. You know, you're just doing that because you know, it's like you stupid weebs, you know, it's like just freaking out over a title and you're not listening to anything that I'm saying. So, you know, it's like, okay, fine. Yes, I'm an asshole. I got shit to do. I mean, it's still one of my most watched videos. So, it's that and how to make bookmarks for artist alleys. Those are my two biggest videos. So yeah, so I forgot my point. I forgot my point. Oh yeah, I was arguing. Well, it's like we were having. It was banter. We weren't fighting. It was me and Michael Odin were just bantering back and forth. You know, and I think a lot of it has to do with, like, he probably didn't like the movie and the, you know, Immortals, and he didn't like the movie, and it probably, and he was just using that whole, well, if I didn't like the movie because it's like, oh, I hate the way he went fast, Tarzim went fast and loose with the mythology, you know, and it's like, bro, that's not how shit works. You know, I mean, it's like, you know, if anybody went fast and loose with the mythology, it was Disney when they did Hercules. You know, I mean, it's like, you know, as to paraphrase, somebody says, you knew it was bullshit when you saw Hera as a loving mother. Anybody who knows Greek mythology knows that, no, this is, that's why I really like Ray Harryhausen's Clash of the Titans. You know, because it's like, ooh, all the gods are and the goddesses are like catty and shit. You know, it's just like, but that's the way that they're supposed to be. You know, I mean, it's kind of like, it's really funny how it's like, you know, when you really look at mythology, well, it's like I'm mostly referencing Greek mythology at this point, but it's like supposedly these were supposed to be like super beings who were supposed to be above the average person. You know, they're just the common man. And they were like the biggest assholes on the planet. Like they embodied the worst human behavior. You know? And, you know, and the thing is though, it's like from what I read about Norse mythology, it was kind of the same thing too. Where it's like Thor wasn't this like he was an asshole. You know, I guess depending on whatever the references that you read for that. But it's like, yeah, it's like he wasn't some kind of like, you know, shining protector of man or whatever the fuck. You know, it's like, no, he was an asshole. He was a god. Gods are assholes. That's what it boils down to. If you read, like, it's like, really, it's like, it's like all these gods, it's like they embody the worst human behavior. You know, and it's just really funny. You know, how that works out. So it's like, yeah, so I have to disagree with Michael Odin when it's like, oh, if you're doing something based on mythology, you have to be somewhat accurate, and I completely disagree. I think that mythology is there to be used and abused, just not in the way Disney does it. I'm talking about more in a very creative and a malleable creative way, where it's like you take this mythology and you turn it into something that you create from, you know, that you base on it. You know, it's like there's certain things about Lord of the Rings that you obviously can't use because it's trademarked or whatnot, you know. A person actually owns those ideas, very specific ideas. But the thing is, though, is that, you know, is anyone going to say that Tolkien ripped off Arthurian legend? You know, I mean, it's like, I know that you know, or like any other mythology. I mean, it's like, Jesus Christ, he even has references to Lovecraft in Lord of the Rings. You know, it's like that you know, it's like there was a part where, like, there are gods, that there were like creatures older than the elves, and that they dwelled beneath, and you know, and it's like, I go, bitch, did you just lift from Lovecraft? I mean, it's like, so yeah, so it's like, you know, it's like, yes, so it's like the moral of the story is don't get so hung up on mythology. I mean, not mythology. Don't get so on originality. You know, don't get so hung up on that. You know, because it's like if you do, you're missing out on so much. It's like, because it's like, and here's the ironic thing, right? So I was watching a long time ago Project Runway. Okay, taking it back. We're taking it back here. So I was watching Project Runway, and I remember this one, they had one person on there. I don't quite remember if it was, I don't remember who it was. You know, and they always, it's like you always have, those contestants who are always gloating or something, or they're always like trying to be high and mighty from all the other contestants and whatnot. And that's what this person was doing. And their whole thing was like how original, that they don't like looking at other people's work. They don't like doing any, like referencing anything. It's like they say, oh, it's like all their stuff that they like to be as original as possible, right? So that was their shtick. That was the thing that that they were like kind of like, oh, that they're better than everybody else because they don't reference anything, that they're so original. And then here's what happened. For all their talk about originality, everything they designed was so obviously influenced by something. But the problem is, it's like because they were so determined to not study anything, they could not recognize when they were being influenced. So it was a very strange, and they didn't last for long. They didn't last very long. And that was the thing. Like, so what it is that like there was like this particular dress with a particular cut, right? That they came out with, and the judges were like, holy shit, you copied that from something else, from this and that. And they were like going, how dare you say that? I don't look at things. I don't purposefully look at things like that. I don't purposefully look at things to be influenced by them. And then it turned out that I guess it's like they had seen a photo in like a like a magazine or something, and they had only seen it once, and with that style of dress, and they didn't realize that they were so influenced by that picture that they were referencing it. It was a very strange thing, and they were horrified. That it's like, in spite of all their proclamations of how original, hello, and then in spite of their proclamations of being original, that they were still being influenced by stuff, even if they didn't purposefully go out to be influenced by stuff. I mean, think about how much we know about the Kardashians without watching any of their shows. Like the fact that I even know what a Kardashian is. Not a Kardashian, a Kardashian. And I'd much prefer the other ones. But I mean, the fact that I know as much as I know about that stupid family, and I don't watch their shows, but somehow I am still influenced by what little that I get from them. And it's the same thing with everything else. Right, exactly. The subconscious works in very, very weird ways. I mean, it's like there's some things where it's like, yeah, I only have to see once, and it's forever in there. It's forever. It's like coming out, manifesting in different ways. I only have to see it once. Like I said, it's like celebrity culture is big on that, where it's like you can try to avoid it as much as you can, but you still, right, exactly. It's like it's like, oh, I don't watch TV. Then how the fuck do you know about the Kardashians? Right? It's like, I don't watch TV, but how do you know about so much stuff without watching TV? Without saying, oh, I try not to be online, but you still know about things. I mean, it just permeates everything. So the thing is that, so no matter how much you try to be original, you can never be truly original. There's no such thing. There's just an interesting take. You can have an interesting take on something. you know, which I think is what we're all trying to do. We're all trying to have, you know, we have these ideas and we're all just trying to have an interesting take on it, you know? And it's like, and even then, it's like, you know, I mean, like I said, going back to the whole, oh, it's a story about a unicorn girl. I'm not going out of my way to do something, it's like, oh, it has to be original. You know, it's like, I'm just writing a story that I like to write, you know? Oh, hello! You know, I'm just writing a story that I like to write. And the thing is, though, too, it's like, and again, it's like, I like to lean into my influences. I like to, you know, I like to show off what my influences are. Like I said, everything that I do is an Easter egg, you know? I actually have a chart that I've actually been hesitant to put up. I did a chart as to, like, if you like these things, you will enjoy EGORAVEN. Or at least that's the hope. You know? And it's a lot of my influences. It's like all the movies. Not all of them, because it's like I didn't want to make the chart too crazy. It's like it was a lot of influence, a lot of the major influential movies that helped inspire the book, you know? And I've always been hesitant to put it up because I didn't want people to take it as this is where I stole all my ideas from. You know, it's like I didn't want people to read the chart like that. You know, it's like, no, these are the movies that heavily influenced me. And yes, the story has Easter eggs that directly goes to those movies that's in this graphic. You know, yeah, no, thank you, Joe. You know, thank you, especially, you know, with you. It's like you say that you don't even like fantasy stories, and this story, I guess, you know, really got to you. And it's like, yeah, those are the types of stories that I like too. I like, you know, I would not have liked the Lord of the Rings movies if it was all about just the overall war. Like, that doesn't have, like, what really resonate with Lord of the Rings, the Peter Jackson movies. I haven't seen, and I'm not going to watch the Amazon version. And this is the thing too. This is the thing. I just want to clarify for everybody who's got their panties in a twist over Amazon not following Tolkien's story. You're not seeing. You're not seeing Tolkien's story on Amazon's thing. You're seeing Amazon's version of Lord of the Rings. You're not seeing Tolkien's Lord of the Rings. You're watching Amazon's Lord of the Rings. And that's also a distinction that I think that we have to make as well. That it's like when you're translating something from one media to another, you're going to have necessary changes. Even when Peter Jackson did it, there are people to this day who are still hung up on the fact that Tom Bombadil is not in the movie. Nobody gives a shit about Tom Bombadil, okay? It's like he's not an important character, and I don't care. It's like, it's not like I read the book, so I don't care, you know? But you know what? Peter Jackson read the books. Everybody read the books on that movie, and nobody gave a shit about Tom Bombadil not being in the movie. So you just have to deal with that. You're seeing Peter Jackson's version of Lord of the Rings. Okay? Same thing with Amazon. You're seeing Amazon's version of Lord of the Rings. You're not seeing Tolkien. If you want Tolkien's version of Lord of the Rings, you read the book. The books are right there. You know? You are never going to get Tolkien's version in a movie. Never. You didn't even get that in the Rankin and Bass version. Okay? It's just, no. It's like, look, you just have to accept the fact that it's a different animal, and Tolkien has nothing to do with it. Just like with the new Star Wars, those are Disney movies. They're not Lucas movies, because Lucas has nothing to do with it. You know, so that's the thing. If you're, you know, it's like everything from Rise of whatever the fuck to whatever the last movie is. The Force Awakens or whatever. I don't care. I don't care. Those are Disney movies. They're not Lucas movies. So people have to stop comparing them to the previous movies because they have no relation. These are Disney movies. You know, and I think that that's the reason why that Star Wars as an IP is well, as a creative endeavor is failing miserably. But again, that's a different conversation. Let's put a pin in that for later. That was another video that I watched about the Disney company recently, but you know, we're not going to talk about that right now. You know, so this chart that I made with major influences, you know, it's like, yeah, it's like that's why I've never posted it, because like I said, I don't want people to like go, oh, let me look for these in the stories. It's like, that's not really my point, you know. I mean, if you find them, that's great, but you know, I don't want people to misinterpret my my intention with that chart, you know. So I mean, yeah, so I guess in the end, maybe I'm just as self-conscious about that as well. But the thing is that, like, I'm the last person to like even think that what I'm doing is original. It's just my version of it. You know, like I said, you go on any art gallery, like I said, what's left of DeviantArt, you'll type in Unicorn Girl and you'll get thousands of entries. I mean, you could probably do that on Google right now and get thousands of, yeah, it's like, yeah, to go back to Joe, I knew that there was a point I was trying to make, that it's like the fact that, you know, yeah, they did focus, you know, that they really, really focused on the characters in Peter Jackson's Lord of the Rings. I'm not counting The Hobbit at all. That's garbage. That's a garbage series. And honestly, I think we lost something with Guillermo not doing it. So I don't refer to those movies at all as part of anything. But with Lord of the Rings, I mean, show me the characters and their interactions, and you got me. I mean, it's like, look, this is the thing. This is really the thing that I loved Lord of the Rings for, the Peter Jackson Lord of the Rings, is how it showed how it was a movie about really, really intense, specifically male relationships and bonding. I mean, it's and the thing is, that's what really, really got me in that, attracted to that movie. It's like, you know, and not in a UA fanfic kind of way. I'm talking about really, really seeing these intense friendship bonds between men. You know, and it's like, whoa. I mean, it's like, that's, you know, it's like, look, man, I mean, really, I mean, that's, you know, oh, hey, you know, it's like, that's what I really, really stood out for me, on Lord of the Rings. It's like, yeah, if it was just about the war, I really, like, war movies in general do nothing for me. You know, yeah, it's all about the characters, you know, for me. It's like, I'm very much about personal interactions more than I am. It's like, I'm not, you know, yeah, you know. But, but yeah, it's yeah, so originality, right? Originality, I think we can all agree that originality is overrated. That it's like, it's not that, and it's not something that we should be chasing, really. It's like what we should be chasing, what we should be worried about is our own interpretation of things, is our own stories. You know, how we tell a story. I mean, it's like, even if we take bits and bobs from all these different places, yeah, I mean, really, it's like, it was just, it's like, really. And that's the thing, because it's like, once they get away from those relationships in the movies, I get bored with it. You know, I think, the Two Towers especially, that's a tough one for me to get through, because there's I don't know, it's like, once you get into Mordor and Gollum gets involved, I don't know, it kind of loses me there. You know, because, you know, it's like, because you know what it is, because Gollum is trying to break up Sam and Frodo, you know, and it's like, again, it's like another really intense friendship, and it's like, and I think probably that's why, I don't have patience for it, because it's like we hates Gollum so much. We hates him. So yeah, so it's like, so, you know, don't be afraid of your influences. Don't be, you know, shy about saying that it's like, yes, I took this from here. Like I was very influenced by it. You know, it's like, look, and this is the thing too, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying any of this to justify actual outright stealing. We're not talking about that. It's like, no, it's like, that's bad faith shit. I'm not into bad faith. You know, it's like, I'm not into anything that's bad faith. That's not what I'm talking about. That's a completely different conversation. It's like, this is what's happening with AI, where people are just like stealing shit and then claiming that it's just an influence, when you see the artwork right there. Like, there's a whole incident with Shikari that was just goddamn embarrassing. And that's not what I'm talking about. So I mean, I'm talking about having, as a creator, a real, genuine love of what you're doing and what you're seeing and what you're absorbing, and you know, and it's like, and not being afraid to be inspired by it, and also it's like to not feel embarrassed when someone says, oh, this reminds me of, and it's like, and instead of going, yes, that's the point. You know, I want you to see that inspiration in it. You know, it's like, I want you to enjoy something the way I enjoy it, by seeing, you know, by the fact that the fact that you can catch those Easter eggs means that we're on the same wavelength. You know, I mean, honestly, that's what that means to me. You know, it's like when you say, it's like, oh, I see the ElfQuest influence. I see, oh, this character is based on Rocket Raccoon. Here is, you know, it's like, oh, it's like, you know, oh, I see, you know, it's like, oh, it's like, this is from, you know, this reminds me of Orlando. This reminds me of Moulin Rouge. This reminds me of Kingdom of Heaven. You know, it's like, you know, oh, it's like, this is kind of like Gladiator. You know, it's like, I was like, oh, here's, you know, it's like, oh, here's your Witcher influences, you know, and it's like, yes, they're supposed to be there, you know, and yes, the Disney references are also there too, you know, in spite of everything that's going on. Yes, exactly, own it, you know, because it's like, you know, like I said, it's like the people who would come to me saying, oh, this reminds me of ElfQuest, and it's like, yes, it does. It does. It's supposed to. You know, it's like the fact that you are able to see the ElfQuest references in a furry book, especially one that looks like the way Tall Tales does, I mean, I'm very proud of that. You know, that's how much, you know, these things mean to me, you know? So why wouldn't I allow these things to influence me? You know, I mean, these are the same people who would probably look at me all stupid if I said, oh, your stuff reminds me of anime. Well, duh. Yeah, I mean, I mean, aside from the fact that it's such a generic term, you know, but it's like, you know, it's kind of the same thing. It's like, oh, you're not being original because the Japanese draw like that. You're just copying what the Japanese are doing. You know, it's like, no, it's a ridiculous argument, and nobody should be making it. That's kind of my point, you know. You know, like I said, I'm not talking about outright theft. You know, I'm not talking about that. Like I said, it's like that's bad faith shit. I'm not talking about that. So don't nobody get it twisted. Actually, you know what? Let me fill in her hair, and then we'll kind of like we'll call it for the night. Now I gotta fill up my marker. Oh, for those of you who want like a really quick hack, you know, especially if you're being lazy with black markers, if you have Copic refills, like I have like a really old Copic refill that I've been using on my Prismacolor markers. So like right now, like when I get off the stream, I'm going to like fill it up. I'm gonna fill up my marker again. What I do is I just pop off. You can pull. Oh, what am I doing? You can pull this nib right out, and then you fill it up the same way you would refill a Copic. You know, you just like, oh, you can either do it from the nib, but I just like to yank it off and then just like, you know, I like to pour one for the homies and then put this back on. And it works fine. You know, it's like, you know, it's like, because I bought a new refill for my new markers, but I had this really old one, this really old Copic refill that I want to finish. So I've been using it for the Prismacolors. So yeah, so just a little tip there if you need it. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. That's exactly how, that's exactly how I like to, I'm in a rush. You see, with the actual Copics, though, I have to weigh them. Because it's like, I don't want to waste the ink. Because it's like, just buying the refills costs just as much as me buying a new set of markers. But having the refills, okay, Copic, you got me. It's like, having the refills is really convenient. You know, especially when, you know, I'm doing all these sketch covers for a campaign, and I don't have time to wait for new markers to come in. I just refill it, and I'm good to go. So they got me there. The only Copics that I had to replace completely was there was just something wrong with the nibs. And no matter how much I refilled it, like the nib, it's like, yeah, and I know you can replace the nib too, but at that point I was just like, you know what, I'm just gonna start from scratch. I'm just gonna replace the entire marker, and then I'm just gonna continue using refills. So yeah, so it's, you know, yeah, it's expensive. You know, but, you know, in the end, I just had to, like, just admit that, look, I use those markers. You know, those are the best markers between that and my Prismacolors, that those are the best markers for me to use, and I just finally have to make the investment on it. You know, and that's what I did, you know. So I'm just gonna finish Orchid up here. Yeah. So you get a little couple of extra minutes. You know. Oh, they probably do. I mean, honestly, it's like I wouldn't be surprised to find out how, you know, like these, like there's a Copic sludge, you know, that gets dumped into the ocean or something, or whatever they do. It's like, I wouldn't be surprised, honestly. I wouldn't be surprised. You know, I mean, I would hope they don't dump it in the ocean. I really do. I really hope they don't. But yeah, I know exactly like what you're talking about. Okay, I'm just gonna finish up here. Okay, I think I'm going to. It's not as much as I had wanted to do, but you guys know how it is, right? We start talking, and you know, we go into convention mode, I guess, and you know. I mean, the page is going to be finished, you know, tonight. You know, it's like I'm just going to continue this page so I can at least get that scanned in. And I'll have 3 pages left. Okay, so that's... Alright, so let me go back to... Alright, hold on. Let me just stop the music, right? And then I'm going to go back to here. Okay. You know, so I think in terms of OBS, I think that worked out really well. I mean, it's like I said, I'm kind of getting the hang of it. Let me just adjust that. You know, it's just figuring out some things, and let me see. Let me just put this here. Put this here so I can see it. Oh, look at that. Oh, my microphone. Okay, yeah, because I have to pull it closer when because my back is to it, right? So, you know, at least now that I'm sitting. It's like, oh, thank you, Jake. Thank you. Yes, you know, like I said, the more I try to be professional with this, the more it looks amateur. So let me see here. Oh, what do I got here? Now I gotta find all my images. What do I got? Where's my folders? Yeah, you see, I gotta get used to like the setup that that OBS that I can do in OBS, but I gotta find stuff. And okay, all right, I think okay, so let me just, here it is. Okay, so here we go. Here. Okay, yes, that's exactly what I was looking for. Okay, that and that. There we go. So now it's kind of like a little bit more official now that we're here at the end of all things, or at least just the stream, you know. So I just want to thank everybody in the chat. I like to thank everybody. So Jake and Joe and Story Comic and who else? Okia Fern. And there's a lot of people in here. It's like, you know, it's like we have some new people. I don't want to butcher your name, so I'm going to show you up on the screen. It's like, hello. You know, and Nicholas. You know, and then we had Oh wow, a lot of people, a lot of people. We had Grant and we had Jay. It's like James, thank you so much. Oh, thank you. And Shirian, thank you so much for being here. And of course, Nita, who's been probably watching the entire time until she had to feed her kids because, everybody got to eat again for some reason. So, so I want to thank all of you in the chat for keeping me company. Thank you, Jake. And it's like, yeah, it's like, let's read North mythology, Norse mythology, the Edda poetry. Let's go read that. Let's go to Scandinavia and read Norse poetry. So yes, I'd like to thank everybody for joining me in the chat. I'd like to thank the 4 people next to the giant eyeball on my screen right there. Thank you so much for watching me from regions beyond. I'd like to thank everybody who, if you were watching me on Twitch, I hope you had a good time with me. I don't know. Like I said, it's my first video there, so who knows how it's gonna get taken. So there we go. So thank you so much for joining me on this Wednesday. You can join me again on Friday when I will be with Nita doing another episode of the Rage Into the Vlogs show, where we will be holding another raffle, giving away some books in honor of the EGORAVEN issue 5 campaign. And, I forgot to show this off. So, if you win one of the items that that we're giving away on the show on Friday, you are also going to get our brand new Ragin sticker. I forgot to show this off. You can't see it, but very well. But it is a hollow foil sticker featuring our 2 little gremlins there. And yeah, so it's like, so if you win one of the raffles on Friday, you will also get this sticker in your package. And of course, if you want to be qualified to win one of the special items that I will have on Friday, you have to pledge to a physical level on the campaign. So hold on, let me see. Yes. So, like I said, here we go. So, EGORAVEN, Air the First Unicorn on Kickstarter right now. Link is in the show notes. If you want to be part of our raffle on Friday, win the sticker, win a couple of limited edition books, or some other limited edition items that's going to be only available through this raffle. You have to pledge to a physical level. And but before the show ends on Friday, we're going to do the raffle to give everybody a chance to pledge to a physical level, and you will be entered on the Wheel of Fortune, and we will choose a winner from the wheel. So it's like break a deal, face the wheel. Actually, but you wouldn't be breaking a deal. You would be just doing, pledging to my campaign. So on that note, thank you everybody. And if you want to see more of my artwork and more about me and my artwork and all that fun stuff, you're going to head on over to my main portfolio site, the recently updated egoworks.com, EGOWORKS. You'll find more of my artwork on there because I'm closing down my outside galleries from DeviantArt and whatnot. So head on over to egoworks.com, where you can also find links to all of my galleries and social media sites, but I mostly post to Facebook if you are interested in seeing like sketches and current work in progress and more like, real time type of progress on things. So hit me up on Facebook as well. And as always, you can catch me on my channel here on YouTube at Daphne Lage Art. That's Lage, and which simulcasts through this Indie Comics Network, simulcast through Indie Comics Network, where you can also see me on Facebook. You also see me on Twitter, and you can also see me on Twitch as well. Hopefully, if this worked out, I think it worked out. And again, if you could also read the first 5 issues of EGORAVEN, Air the First Unicorn, in its original black and white format that I started uploading back in 2000. But if you prefer your fantasy to be more of a Lord of the Rings adventure, head on over to Tall Tales. Head on over to talltalesonline.com and read the first 20 issues of Tall Tales for free. And don't forget to sign up at the webs at EagleWorks or at Tall Tales. It's the same. Thing. Sign up for the monthly newsletter where you will get free comic PDFs just for signing up, and you will get regular updates in your email about our current crowdfunding, about current projects, and it's going to be about EGORAVEN, Tall Tales, and the Oswald Chronicles as well, which you will also get a free comic. PDF comic to try that out as well. So yeah, and speaking of Oswald, just to end on that note, Oswald Chronicles Volume 2 of Passing Queens and Seeking Homes is on Kickstarter right now as pre-launch. It is in pre-launch. JD is going to launch it on the 21st. So if you don't want to miss this campaign, go ahead and links are in the show notes below where you can sign up for the pre-launch and get notified when it goes live. So there you have it. So thank you so much for joining me. And on that note, speaking of Oswald, I'm going to be leaving you we're gonna leave with Oswald, and so I'll see you again on Friday, and if you're watching on Twitch, I will see you again on Wednesday. So thank you again, and see you later. Bye.
It is difficult to write these words, but I must for my own sake. I have done, seen, and been part of many things in my life.